crypto for growmybag.tv. Hope all is well with you and yours. What's good? What's good? What's good? It's Friday. Well, it's almost Friday. It's almost Friday. It's not really Friday for me until I have a nice glass of wine in my hand and I can do my little two-step. You know what I mean? Like nobody in the office can look at me funny. You know, so for drinking so early. So yeah, it's Friday. It's almost Friday. But it's been a good day. It's been a good day. Bitcoin is up just a hair. That's why it's green, because technically we are up, even though we're trading within a zone. Just saying, things that we should be paying attention to. So we already know about, TikTok, US TikTok being sold. We went over that last night, but in case you missed it, real quick, it's going to be owned by Silver Lake, Oracle, and MGX. MGX is out of the UAE. Yeah, United Arab Emirates. That's right. Same company, MGX, same crew that did that $2 billion buy using USD1. The stable coin that really should be below $1 billion. Yeah, that one. Who still got stomped on by, PayPal, USD. Anyway, so when I look at things, yeah, I think eventually that particular crypto is going to go because why would you want to touch it? Look at all the coins, all the businesses in the crypto space. Why would you want to touch it? Right? His namesake coin, failure. Melania, failure. Right? DJT, failure. That's why they had to do this deal with the Fusion company, completely changing what they're all about. Yeah, failure. Why would you want to touch that coin? I wouldn't. I would not. I absolutely would not. Right? Every time somebody tries to ride the wave, the only people that can ride that wave are the people that are on the inside. Why? Because they know what they're going to do and when they're going to do it, so they can position themselves well. Just saying. Pay attention to tea leaves. Pay attention to the tea leaves. What else do we have going on? We have two big pieces of news. Okay? The FTC chairman role has now been filled. The CFTC chairman role has now been filled. That means Miss Pham is going to wind up going over to MoonPay. Yeah, that's right, buddy. That's right. So you got big moves going on. Both of those two chairmen are crypto friendly. So you're going to have a crypto friendly SEC head, or you have a crypto friendly SEC head. You're going to have a crypto friendly CFTC head. And you're going to have a crypto-friendly FDIC head. Interesting, no? I think it's a tad bit interesting. What else do we have going on? Apparently, the CARES Act, the crypto and AI czar, the guy who works part-time on this stuff, David Sachs, says that the Clarity Act will be ready for the Senate in January, so that they can do their markup and they can see where it goes from there. I have an issue with conflict of interest. I don't. David Sachs does. That whole executive branch administration does. So the new you can't buy stocks, you can't trade stocks legislation that's out there, guess what? Does not include the executive branch. And guess what? He even said, the new regime said, hey, I agree with it so long as it doesn't include the executive branch. Gee, I wonder why. Again, going back to their business ventures, why would you do it? The only ones that make it are the ones that are on the inside. And just because you hold stock or you hold a coin, that does not make you an insider. Trust me. So yeah, be careful if that's what you're doing. Be careful if that's your game, if that's your part of your strategy. That's dangerous strategy. Just saying, it's dangerous strategy. Then we've got the ECB unveiling digital euro blueprint, meaning they're thinking it's ready to go. That's scary. That is very scary. Yo, Carrie, how are you? Thank you. Thank you very much. Don't forget to invest in yourself today. Is this your first time here? Let's go look at channel activity. It looks like this is your first time here. Or at least your first time speaking, communicating. Welcome. I like to welcome everybody that I don't recognize. I like to welcome them. So the European Central Bank confirmed on Thursday that it has completed technical preparations for the digital euro, but emphasized that political approval from the European Council and Parliament is required for launch. Can you say yikes? I don't know that that's a good thing. I think a digital euro, not a good thing. I don't know anything that's good that can come from that. I don't know anything that's good that can come from that. When I say Big Brother, wow. I gave the example of I'm out walking around and I want some ice cream and I go inside and I go to pay and they say, no, apparently you're not allowed to spend your digital asset here because you're not allowed to spend your digital euro here or your CBDC here because you're fat. They have data that says you're fat. Now that's a little harsh because I am fat, but still, I want my damn ice cream. Technically, they'd be able to do that and be like, no, sir. Dink. Yeah, I don't like that. I do not like that. I have yet to hear any country state why a CBDC is a good idea. I have yet to hear a single good thing about a CBDC. Instead, you know what I hear? You know what we see? We see rules on stable coins that basically turn them into CBDCs. Yeah. I have, what do they call it? They call it zero flipping interest. I have zero interest in a CBDC. Just saying, that's not the way I'm flowing today. That's not it. That is absolutely not it. What else do we have? We've got the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filed a lawsuit against a Bitcoin mining company called VBit and founder Dan Vo in Delaware federal court. The agency alleges that the fraud and misappropriation of $48 million in investor funds between 2018 and 2022, claiming VBit, it is VBit, sold more hosting agreements than available mining rigs. Yeah, that's oof. So if you go back to web hosting, you used to be able to have a web hosting server and you'd be able to put multiple websites on a single machine. It doesn't work like that with mining rigs unless you're going to say, I'm allowing you to run for X amount of time per rig. Doesn't work like that. So yeah, I think they're going to lose. I don't think they have a leg to stand on. I think at best they might be able to cut down their time in jail. Maybe. But the misappropriation of 48 mil, if the federal government takes you to jail, takes you to court on certain things, unless you've got big friends, you've made the right donations at the right times and got in front of the right people. Yeah, you're probably going to go to jail. You're probably going to go to jail. But right now, with the way the DOJ is being run, you kind of want to have your attorneys pay attention to the details because they seem to have been slipping on the details. Yeah, people are less scared of the DOJ for some reason. Michael Burry, famed for predicting the 2008 crisis, warns that U.S. households now hold more net worth in stocks than real estate. A trend history links to prolonged bear markets. Burry highlights parallels to the 1960s and 1990s. Not a good thing. Citing factors like passive investing dominance, AI-driven trading. Ooh, yeah, that's not smart. And macroeconomic shifts with big risks. He's not wrong. Like, I'm actually on his side. I can see it coming. I told you, 2026 is going to be tumultuous. It's going to be tumultuous. There are too many bad things. I haven't been able to make a list of all the good things and then have a list of all the bad things and have the good things outweigh. It seems like right now all the bad things outweigh. Don't believe me? I mean, take a look at some of the big ticket, bad things. We've got a $9 trillion interest payment that we have to come up with as a country. We carry $38 trillion in debt, trillion with a T, $trillion in debt. We have at best, a poor healthcare system that's going to go up in price. Actually, I'm sorry, my bad. Has already priced. Okay. Congress, Mike Johnson did not want to have the vote, so he sent Congress home. So that ought to tell you something. So people are going to pay more. He literally said, oh, no, it's okay. Everybody can go home, have a longer vacation, and everybody that needs health care will just pay more. Tell me how that's a good thing. So yeah, when I look at next year, not only do we have more bad things that can happen, they're deeper. They're deeper. And that's not a good thing. That is not a good thing at all. And that's what I'm paying attention to. That's what's on my radar right now. What are the good things that could happen? So you get some ETFs that roll out. Maybe the Genius Act and the Clarity Act, come about and actually help you with things. But remember, those acts are just frameworks. They're still figuring out the kinks. They didn't give it enough thought. It's enough for certain companies to make a profit, but not enough for anything else to really take a foothold. So that we have a lot of work to do. And I don't know that we have enough people that are serious minded about the general public to actually make right decisions and make right moves. So those are all things, those are all big risks that loom over us. I don't see a lot of opportunities. I mean, maybe that's what we have to do. Maybe we have to start collecting opportunities. Maybe there are opportunities out there that I'm not recognizing, which could happen, even though I'm in the news like every day, several times a day. I mean, think about it. We banged out 42 articles yesterday, and we could have done more. That ought to tell you something. So what else do we have going on? Bitwise has filed for a SUI spot ETF. That's actually good news. It's actually good news. I do like SUI. So before you ask, yes, I do. Excuse me. I actually do. Something that struck me as crazy, and I'm going to read you my notes again. Charles Hoskinson, co-founder of IOHK, Cardano, criticized U.S. President Donald Trump's cryptocurrency initiatives, including the launch of a Trump meme coin shortly after his inauguration. Hoskinson warned that the move risked damaging the industry and shifted bipartisan regulatory efforts into partisan debates. He also addressed concerns about Trump's World Liberty Financial Project and urged crypto leaders to speak out against political interference. That is huge. If you've seen this guy talk and you see the weird stuff that he's into, that right there is as close to 180 as you're going to get. Like, holy freaking moly. Wow. But he speaks the truth. You mud out the waters if you've got politicians out there doing certain things like creating coins and having such a deep rooted kind of push into it. I mean, and it's not just crypto, it's crypto and it's stocks. It's crypto and stocks that have a problem. So yes, there's a bill because everybody's flipping out about, Congress, politicians being able to, buy and sell, stocks and trade stocks while they're in office and blah, 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 blah. That's great. But that same rule should go for the president as well, the president and the executive branch. It really should. It needs to. It must. Because how else are you going to have the interests of the greater people out there, the greater number of people out there, if you don't have to abide by those same rules? It's sort of like having healthcare for free for the rest of your life because you served, because you won a contest. Where are we with healthcare now? Yeah, nowhere near. That's a problem, right? At least to me, that's a problem. So the further you are from the regular everyday citizen, the less inclined you are to actually make decisions for the normal, common, everyday citizen. Why do I think that bill will pass now, even if it's just for Congress? The reason why I think it'll pass now is because just about everybody that's older will vote yes for it because they know they're on their way out and it's not going to affect them. That's why. That's literally why. So, yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, no, not a problem. I'll sign off on that. I'm on my way out. I made my money already. What I'd like to do is go through and see who made a whole lot of money off of stock trading, crypto trading, all that stuff. Who did and who did not. Right? They said, no, I'm not gonna do that insider trading nonsense. Because that's what it is. They're privy to information that the general public is not privy to. But they get to leverage that information even though we're not privy to it. And it's not called that because they're politicians. Yeah, not cool. So that's something that we need to be paying attention to. Going to rifle through some other news. We've got Bitcoin and Ether have not moved, even though Japan has indeed raised their rates 2.75%. You heard me. 0.75%. It was expected. It came. It happened. And we're not seeing huge moves in the market. We're up a little bit to 88. We're down at like 85, 84 yesterday. Up at 88 today on Bitcoin. But yeah, that's kind of a big deal. And nothing's really moving that hard right now. And then here's the other problem. It's Friday. You know what Friday is? Friday is Sell on Friday. Yeah. In the stock markets, you sell on Fridays. That's been a golden rule for a long time. A court-appointed bankruptcy administrator overseeing the Terraform Labs collapse has sued trading firm Jump Trading for $4 billion. Yeah, if you're following that, go do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. If you're following that, go ahead and go take a look. It's not going to have an effect on the market, but it is interesting. It is still newsworthy. What else do we have? Strategy CEO Michael Saylor claims quantum computing threats could drive Bitcoin's growth by forcing global adoption of quantum-resistant technologies. Nobody thinks about it like that. And that's a fact. I mean, if you stop and you think about it, you're going to have to. And a lot of people are saying, well, why is that? Because it's a greater threat than the Y2K problem that everybody had. It's a bigger problem than that. So you're going to have to get into quantum resistant technologies. Depending on where you're at, quantum technology can affect certain things. He's got a really good point. He's got a really, really, really good point. In high-stakes legal battle, Coinbase has filed lawsuits against regulators in Connecticut, Illinois, and Michigan, asserting federal oversight of its prediction markets, meaning I can have a prediction market because the federal government said, yes, you're just a state. You can't affect me doing this in your state. So they've brought them to court because they want to win. And Bybit is back in the UK with 100 pairs. So I guess they got legal, got compliant, and now they're able to open back up over there. We'll see how that pans out. But Bybit is a big exchange, and that's actually a very big deal. Because of our funky laws over here, we can't necessarily have Bybit. Just saying. Japanese Bitcoin treasury company Metaplanet launched American Depository Receipts, ADRs, on December 19th, trading on the U.S. over-the-counter market under the ticker MPJPY. The ADRs replace unsponsored OTC listings and represent the fourth largest corporate Bitcoin holder with 88, with the number's wrong, with their median price or their average price being 88,191. Wow. Doha Bank, a leading Qatar-based lender, issued a $150 million digital bond via Euroclear's DFMI platform. It's a private blockchain platform. The reason why it's a big deal, it's not because they're on a blockchain that we know. It's the fact that they're implementing blockchain technology. That's what caught my attention. And we'll see. Because I'm also wondering, well, how come you didn't do it via, Chainlink or XRP or all the other tools that are out there? Why are you doing it with this? So I'm interested to learn more about it and how that actually goes. But you know what else we should do? That's right. We should go over the numbers. So let's go do that. Let me move over here, get my notes out of the way, and you know how we start everything off. We've got Dow futures down 12 points, basically unchanged. S&P futures implied open up 13.25, again, basically unchanged. Then you've got the NASDAQ futures up 87.25, oil up 0.21, and the US 10-year up 0.035. All of it very interesting. Now, today, I think, is going to be a wild day, and we've got several reasons why. Just looking at that headline, told you. Japan up their rates by 0.75, by 0.25%, raising them to 0.75%. So now their rate is 0.75%. Good morning, Lex Luthor. Long time no see, my man. Then we've got who's coming out with, paychecks. Got to want to pay attention to paychecks coming out today. With their numbers, Carnival Corporation, I think cruises might be taking a hit, but let's see. Conagra Brands, definitely want to pay attention to that. Winnebago, still in business? Wow, okay. So yeah, I'll be interested in that. Newegg is another one I'd be interested in. Barnes & Noble, chugga. Nobody else I'm really paying attention to. We don't really have anything going on today. In terms of that, we have Fed speak right here. Pay attention to that. Existing home sales and consumer sentiment. I think it's going to be a little while before I actually trust the numbers. That's what I'm saying. So we were up at 19 for a moment. Then we hit 17. Now we're at 16 for crypto fear and greed index. DeFi Llama, we're at $118.697 billion in total value locked. Bitcoin is currently at 88,192. That's interesting. Look at this. We've had big spikes up and down. I don't know. This is a V right here, but you've seen sharp turns before. I don't know if we're going to keep going up. We'll see what happens throughout the day. Again, that Japanese rate shift was expected. Once they said, then it was expected, and that's when things started to change toward, okay, it's going to happen, so we know what's going on. Yes, brother, Japan should be priced in full. Will probably drag us further down the bottom, next days, weeks, maybe. It's been factored in so much. That's one. Two, it just means that you're not going to be able to make your money via the carry trade. So everybody's got to fall back. You've got to fall back. The only reason why it's going to bring you down is because people are going to have to cover that debt. That's the only reason why it's going to bring you down. And I don't know if it's going to be so widespread as people think, because the last time it happened, people were like, holy moly, I don't want to be so leveraged in that space that I can't manage myself. So I think you're going to have less people be affected by that, less entities be affected by that. Coin market cap, let's take a look. Coin 360, let's take a look at the big board. Yeah, everything's still on sale. Like, what you talking about? Everything's still on sale. If you've been doing your research, Leo could have been a good thing for you. But everything is still on sale. Solana, even though it's green, is still only at $125. ETH is at $29.65. BTC is at $88.221. So I'm just saying, everything's still on sale. Again, pay attention to the volatility and see if you can make money from it. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. So many people miss out on that. They don't pay attention. I try to understand, how come you're not paying attention? That's silly. That's absolutely silly. There are opportunities to make money whether you're in a down market or up market. Your first investment is here, and that's how you learn how to make that money. How to increase your value. That's the idea. Just saying. What else do we have? Let's look at this board. Yeah, we're not doing so great. Bitcoin, still down year to date, 5.56%. S&P is going to wind up outracing Bitcoin. If you'd invested in Bitcoin on January 1st of 2025 and the S&P 500, January 1st, 2025, S&P is positive and Bitcoin is negative. Just saying. This, and all year long, I've been telling you, I've been paying attention to the rhythm of coins. What's the rhythm? What happens? This is why I tell you to pay attention to the rhythm. BNB still in the green. Thank you very much. BCH still in the green. Thank you very much. Right? Monero. Privacy coins have made a huge comeback. We should have been paying attention. We should have seen that coming. Let's take a look at the losers, how big the losers are. Chugga, 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 chugga. There you go. Who am I paying attention to? Because my there's nothing over here that I'm paying attention to. But just recall, this is the top 25 losers out of the top 250 coins. So we get right down into my 5% rule real fast. Then when you look at the winners, again, you get into my 5% rule real fast. Zcash is up 8.57%. With a GMB factor of 6.48. Bitcoin Cash is up 10% with a GMB factor of 5.41. Leo is up 18.36% with a GMB factor of 0.37. Yeah. Told you, do your research on these things. I have not had a chance to do research on Leo because we're too busy making this happen. You want to know what's really special? Everything that I was speaking about this morning is right there. Everything that I was speaking about this morning is right there. Probably, that's the 19th. That's today. So right here begins all the new articles. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 brand new articles for this morning that we covered. So if you didn't catch everything that we're talking about, go to growmybag.tv and check out these articles. We're in it to win it. This is what we're bringing to the community. And guess what? Yes, there is a feed. There is a feed where we talk about things, right? These are all posts about the news that I posted up for everybody. Yeah, that's right. And you can make comments on that. You can make comments right here on this post. You can go to the article and you can make comments on the article too, as long as you're a member. You have to be a member to have access to that because we don't want any crazies leaving stuff like that. So go become a member if you can. Go become a member if you can. That'd be great. We want to grow this community so we can help everybody learn about investing and take everything to the next level for themselves. First investment is right here. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about us, become a member on growmybag.tv. We got a lot more coming. Oh, somebody was asking me before. The bubbles that you see here, yeah, those are tags. You can click them and it'll tell you everything that's there. Yeah, everything. Wow, that's pretty nice. That's actually pretty good. Holy moly. Wow. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tonight on Friday Flips at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's going to be a lot to talk about because I know today is going to be a crazy day. Everybody, I hope you have a good one. Can't wait to see you tonight. Have a good one. Bye-bye.